Hello students, today we are dealing with life processes nutrition part 4. In this we will deal with process of nutrition. So we all know that nutrition involves 5 main steps. The first is ingestion. So what is ingestion? In means taking in. The process of taking food inside the body. It is called ingestion. The food is first masticated or chewed inside the mouth with the help of teeth before swallowing. The second is digestion. It is the conversion of large, complex, insoluble organic molecules. Organic means carbon compounds into simple, small and soluble molecules. So it means it is the process of breaking, because large changes into small, complex change into simple, insoluble change into soluble. So they can be easily absorbed by body. It starts in mouth cavity. So the first digestion takes place in mouth cavity and continue up to the intestine. So the last digestion takes place in intestine. Now there is a term related with alimentary canal. It is called peristalsis. We all know that food is moved forward in alimentary canal from mouth to pharynx, esophagus, stomach. How does it move? So it moves with the help of muscles present on wall. The muscles present on wall of stomach. Here we are dealing with digestion. So the stomach wall muscles, they churn. Churn means mix the food with acids and move it forward. So it is called peristalsis. So in simple words, we can see movement of food due to contraction and relaxation of muscles is called peristalsis. Here we can see digestive enzymes. The first is salivary glands. They produce saliva. It is acted in buccal cavity or oral cavity. The enzyme is salivary amylase and it acts on starch to change it into maltose. Next is gastric glands. They are found in stomach. The secretion is gastric juice and HCl. They act in stomach. The gastric juice produces pepsin enzyme. It acts on proteins and breaks into peptones and proteoses. They are small proteins. It also contains renin enzyme which acts on casein of milk and breaks into para-casein. So renin is mostly found in infants because they feed on milk. HCl, it acts on pepsinogen, which is an inactive enzyme, and changes into pepsin, which is active. Liver produces bile juice which acts in duodenum. Now it does not contain any enzyme, but it acts on fat and helps in emulsification of fats. Emulsification means the fats are broken into small droplets like a foam. Pancreas produce pancreatic juice. It acts on duodenum. There are 3 enzymes in this juice. First is amylase, which acts on starch and glycogen to form maltose and isomaltose. Trypsin acts on proteins to form peptones and peptides. They are smaller proteins. Lipase acts on emulsified fats or droplets and change them into fatty acids and glycerol. Now the intestinal glands, there are some glands inside the wall of intestine, small intestine. They produce intestinal juice. Intestinal juice is also called succus antricus. It has many enzymes. Erapsin, it breaks peptones and peptides into amino acids, which are the simplest protein units. The next is maltase. It acts on maltose to produce glucose. Sucrase acts on sucrose sugar to form glucose and fructose. Lactase, it acts on lactose to form glucose and galactose. And lipase, it acts on triglycerides from fat and produce monoglycerides and fatty acids. The mucus is produced from large intestine and it helps in lubrication of fecal matter so that the waste material becomes slippery and it is egested out of body. The next process is absorption. So it is the process of mixing digested food in body fluid. So the food which was digested or broken down, it is mixed with the body fluid like cytoplasm. It takes place in ileum. So mostly absorption takes place in the last part of small intestine. By diffusion, we know that diffusion is movement of a substance from a region of higher concentration to lower. Osmosis, it is a special type of diffusion in which a semi-permeable membrane is present. Active transport, so it means that energy is used to transport a material inside the cell. So all the three methods are used. Fat absorption. Now we know that fat is insoluble in water and water is the main constituent of blood. So what happens that the fat which was broken down, it cannot be easily entered into blood. So then how it is absorbed? The fatty acids and glycerol are insoluble in water, so they cannot reach bloodstream directly. So they are first passed into lymph capillaries. So first the fat is transported to lymph capillaries which are found inside villi. These are called lacteals. So lymph capillaries are called lacteals. In lacteals, the fat are resynthesized into small fat molecules. So in the lacteals, the fats are resynthesized, means fatty acid and glycerol combine to form small fat molecules. Bile helps in absorption of fats. We know that bile juice also helps in absorption because it emulsifies fats. The absorbed fat is sent via blood to different parts of body. So the lymph carries it to the blood and finally the blood transports it to body. So the fat is not directly entered into blood. First fat enters into lymph which is found in lacteals and finally it enters the blood indirectly. Here we can see anatomy of small intestine, villi. So we can see that the villi has lacteal in the center as well as blood capillaries. In the bottom we can see lymphatic vessel. So after absorption the fat enters into lacteals and then it is transported to blood capillaries. Here we can see the process of absorption. Villi, it has lacteal and blood vessel. The lacteal absorb products of fat digestion. So fatty acid and glycerol are absorbed by lacteals. The blood vessels provide good blood supply to help in absorption of glucose and amino acids. Each villus is only villi is only one cell thick. So the finger-like structures are only one cell thick. So they are easily diffusion can take place. Assimilation. So it is the utilization or using of absorbed food for various body functions. The food which is absorbed, it is used for various functions like production of energy and growth. The nutrients are used to resynthesize complex molecules. So since the nutrients were broken into simple parts, again they resynthesize complex molecules to form parts of cell like carbohydrate, protein, fats. Egestion, it is the elimination or removal of undigested food from cells. Or lumen of large intestine. Lumen means cavity. So the waste material is collected in large intestine, especially colon and rectum part. Finally, it is released through the anus. Here we can see assimilation. So in the small intestine, absorption take place. Finally, it is stored in the liver, where it can be used for various functions. The distribution and use of digested food products as energy source. So the food can be used for production of energy or converted into protoplasm required for growth and repair of worn out parts. So the parts which are damaged continuously, like skin, they can be repaired continuously with the help of nutrition through assimilation. Okay children. Now the next is dental caries. Dental caries is also called tooth decay. It involves destruction of enamel layer. We know that enamel is the hardest material of teeth, and dentin, it is the internal part of teeth, due to acids produced by action of bacteria on sugar. So when sugar collects around teeth, bacteria act on the sugar and produce acids which damage the teeth. Masses of bacteria and food are called dental plaque. So bacteria and food collected around teeth is called plaque. If dental caries is not treated, it can spread throughout the teeth. First enamel, then dentin, then pulp, and finally it causes inflammation and infection in teeth. It can be prevented by brushing twice daily. So this is a disorder of teeth. Here we can see the stages of tooth decay. First, decay in enamel, the black part. Then advanced decay, it reaches dentin. Third, the dentin, it spreads more. And finally, decay in pulp. This stage is very painful. So we can see that the tooth decay spreads slowly if it is not treated.